Hey, friends of Fayetteville First United Methodist, greetings. It's Wednesday, December 9th. I'm delighted to be joining you, sharing with you a couple announcements that are going on in the life of our church. There's always a lot that we are doing, even though we may be physically apart and distance, but I wanted to go over a couple announcements and kind of close with a bit of inspiration and devotion for the middle of the week here. First, you can see that we are still having an Advent book club. The Seekers group meets 2 meetings left, December 10th and 17th. It's a hybrid format where if you would like to meet in person, measures are being taken to meet safely and effectively. But also if you'd like to Zoom in and participate that way, you can do so as well. This is a group that's going to continue into 2021 with a different book, but the Advent one has 2 weeks left. And if you'd like more information, you can certainly join. Also like to encourage you to save the date for Storytime with Santa next Wednesday night, a week from today, December 16th at 6 p.m. in the field, an opportunity to come and meet the big man and hear his favorite Christmas story, as well as enjoy a time of bonfire and fellowship with families and members of the congregation. As we look towards outreach and what's going on in the life of our church, this is always, and with good reason, one of the most exciting things that we do. Outreach is a part of who we are in reaching out to the community through mission. Our SafeHouse Outreach is going to be New Year's Eve, going to be serving a meal. We're collecting coats, gloves, hats, any donations that we can take up to people in those areas during these cold months that are upcoming. If you'd like more information, reach out to Randy Riddell. We also have an opportunity, although be it a short window here with the angel tree, we're still have opportunities to collect gifts, but we need them all back by tomorrow, which would be December 10th. So if you've still got a couple out there and you're waiting on those presents to get them in, bring them into the office tomorrow so that we can get them to bloom as soon as possible. We are 92% within our goal of $12,000 to support the missions that go with Christmas Marketplace. In light of what's going on, we obviously did not have our Christmas Marketplace this year, but the United Methodist Women are taking up a special above and beyond donation to give to missions and organizations within our community. If you'd like to make a gift, we need to receive those by December 15th. You can drop it by the office, and if you're writing a check, make it out to United Methodist Women and earmark it Christmas Fund. Also, I think it's worth sharing what we do with what we have. Our Benevolence Gifts are changing people's lives. And a couple Sundays ago in worship, I shared one of the stories of how people's lives have been impacted. It is no small feat that we have been able to impact and share so richly and so generously with those in our community. This is not something that we do alone, but is through a group of volunteers at our church and at other churches that make sure that when we assist, we are doing so in a proper way that supports and helps those who are in need. We've assisted so far 96 families to the tune of $25,000, almost $26,000. So thank you very much, those of you who have given, contributed, and volunteer your time to make sure that we are serving others and doing unto the least of these, as Christ says in Matthew 25. Save the date in early 21 as we are able to. There will be a jail ministry training. And just as we talked about Jesus saying, doing unto the least of these, one of the things he mentions in Matthew 25 is, I was imprisoned and you visited me. If you'd like more information, you can contact me, but stay tuned for that as an opportunity as well. And now turning towards some more worshipful things, we are still going to have ordering of poinsettias or poinsettias, depending on your pronunciation. South Georgia in me wants to keep it poinsettias, but I know it's probably more classically said poinsettias. There's a link available online if you'd like to purchase one and pick them up after the Christmas Eve gathering. But we do request that all those collections be submitted by Friday, December 18th at noon. That way we're able to make note of who has given and contributed. For those of you that are doing the season of Nativity and Advent, wreath at home, the do-it-yourself one, if you've got it set up, we encourage you to take a picture and send it to us. That way we can share it to others and share it with those who have so graciously given of their time to put these gift bags together so that we can celebrate the season in connected and meaningful ways as we are approaching the manger in Bethlehem and Epiphany throughout this season of Nativity. This coming Sunday, we're having our lessons and carol service at 11 and 5, both in the sanctuary. We will be following our usual procedures of one-way flow of traffic in and out of the sanctuary, masks on when inside the sanctuary, but it is a time to join in the familiar sounds and sights of the season in the sanctuary as we gather together. For those who are here, we'll also be live streaming the 11 o'clock service for those who are unable to be with us on that day. For those who might find the holiday season a little bit more difficult, there will be a streaming service. It will not be live streamed, it will be pre-recorded, but a service, a Blue Christmas, on what is the longest night of the year. It is when the day is the shortest and the night is the longest. And it usually occurs right before Christmas as a reminder to us that sometimes when life can seem dark and bleak, Christ's presence and light breaks forth. And we'll be putting that on the church website, on the YouTube channel, and on the Facebook page for those who would like to access it on that day. Also, we are anticipating right now our Christmas Eve services at 4 and 6 and 11. And so we encourage you, for those who are able and willing to be here, to be here. We also want to be very encouraging to those who don't feel comfortable or who have large crowds coming in from out of town. If this is a year that you feel more comfortable live streaming at home, we'll be live streaming the 6 o'clock service, as well as recording it so that you can watch it later. If you'd like to watch the 6 o'clock service at 11, or even if you'd like to watch the 6 o'clock service at 8, whenever you might like to be. We do ask caution and care for our members, for our community, and for those around us as we seek to worship together. We do so with God's love towards others as our mandate. Just as Christ said, just as I have loved you, so may you love one another. We are accepting reservations to the nursery. We're following the same guidelines that we use in our preschool, but you do need to make reservation through the church office by Thursday at noon so that we can have an accurate guess of who's going to be there, not an accurate guess, so that we can have an accurate measurement of who's going to be there on Sunday morning. And that way you can get a door code to get in through the nursery side, as that remains locked on Sunday mornings. And finally, moving forward and looking into 2021, if you would like offering envelopes to give monthly, we are not printing those for everyone, but if you'd like them individually, we can certainly receive those and get them to you, but you have to contact the church office to let us know. With everything that's going on in the world, it is nice to have these times together and these ways together that we are gathering, that we are fellowshipping, and that we are the body of Christ together. It gets me thinking a lot about what is the most effective witness and what is the most important thing that we as Christians can be doing in this world, in a time when our world seems so incapable of compassion, and a time when our world seems so harsh, and our time when our language are maybe filled with rhetoric that is harmful to our neighbor. Whether we agree with our neighbor or not, we are mindful that as Christ's people, we are to live differently than the world around us. I've revisited a book by Reverend Dr. Ron Greer, who is a pastoral counselor, has been for many years, is trusted in the annual conference, and has had a long ministry. He's got a book called The Path of Compassion. And I'd like to share a little bit from the introduction of this book with you as devotion for us this morning. In a section called With All Your Mind, he's talking about what we have to do as individuals. He writes these words: I have to think, discern, and decide. Then I have to act. Not just to feel compassion, but to be compassionate. The hallmark of compassion of the mind is living out our compassion. The mind brings wisdom. No matter how deeply we may feel it, there is only so much each of us has to give, only so much time, energy, availability. So we have to discern and then decide. To what do we feel called? By what do we feel inspired? How shall we invest that time? To whom or to what will that energy go? At what point do we need to set boundaries, to pause, to rest, and to save ourselves to engage another day? How shall we respond when this warm feeling of compassion encounters the living, breathing needs of the world? How shall we channel our compassion? How shall we translate this emotion into the living of our lives? Choices must be discerned and action taken. Compassion is indeed of the heart, of the soul, and of the mind. Compassion is not just an emotion, nor only an inspiration, nor simply an action. Compassion is all three, heart, soul, and mind, working together in beautiful synergy. It involves a feeling of empathy, an experience of grace, and an impassioned engagement. These are the levels of compassion, heart, soul, and mind. And they will be our focus as we bring our all to the important calling of compassionate living. The days ahead may be trying, they may be troublesome, they may be worrisome. We might be second guessing some of our own decisions. We might be second guessing the decisions of others. As people who follow a resurrected Savior, one who has taught us to love and given us hope, may we put on compassion. May we clothe ourselves with kindness. May we cover ourselves with humility. And may we not only feel these emotions, feel these attributes, but live them out in our day-to-day living, so that in the days ahead, others might come to know that which is good and holy and lasting. Until next time, until worship, until we gather again, may we all live lives of compassion as we follow in the footsteps of Christ.